and welcome to the Just Zander podcast. I'm your host, Zander Gray, and this is episode 21. Episode 21. As you can see from the video, I'm looking sort of rugged. It's been a long week, and so I have some news of what's going on, but I think I'm going to hold off for a little bit because I'm just waiting on things to happen. For things to show up, so I will keep you guys in tune. So to start the show, full disclaimer, I am not an expert in what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about through experiences and my perceptions and perspective. So I hope you understand. So today I wanted to talk to you about death. Okay, and so let's go. I went camping this last week with two of my buddies, and you might not know, or you may know, I'm not really a camping guy. They wanted to go camping, so I said, let's go, let's do it. I was open to things. I'm not really an outside person, so I'm comfortable being at home and safe. So, also one of the reasons, too, is mosquitoes love me, so I was definitely bombarded. We didn't stay out there that long, but it was great. And we had really, really good conversations and insight. And one of the conversations that we have, which leads to this topic of death today, and I asked this a lot to friends and to just random people, just to get a better perspective of what they want, what they want to do. So I asked, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And they took their pick and what they want to do, and I picked. Well, the first one I decided was reality warping, but that was kind of cheating. So basically what it is you can basically do whatever and create whatever. So that's kind of cheating. You're essentially God. So I skipped that. So I decided, well, I want healing factor. Just like Wolverine in the Marvel movies, he has healing factor where he can regenerate. He technically lives forever. He's an immortal, right? Technically. And I'm sure comic book nerds will try and correct me. I'm a nerd too. It's okay. So I decided to pick healing factor, and they're like, ugh, why? And I was like, well, you can't die. And then they said, well, you're going to live forever, and people around you are going to die. And I said, I'm okay with it. Meaning, I'm okay with it because I get to live the life with them. And unfortunately, I can't die, so I live the life with them until their end of days, and I would cherish that, and I would write a memoir or a book about them. And I was thinking, like, imagine if I lived 1,000 or 2,000 years or whatever, and I would have in my room, I have this wall of books, and it's just books with the people that I've had relationships with, that friends and family and all that. And I would write a full book about them, and that's just the memory I have of them. And they said, well, you would be miserable. You would go crazy. And I said, I don't think so. Because one of the reasons why I picked it, because I would have an infinite amount of time to do whatever. I could learn several languages. I could be proficient at guitar, bass, piano, whatever. There's no time limit, right? If you had a healing factor, you basically an immortal, so you live. But would I be out in the open? Probably not. And I would probably help as many people as I can behind the scenes, because, and this goes into something completely, because, if you have that kind of power, people want to experiment on you. Anyway, that's a whole separate conversation. So I wouldn't mind living my life and experiencing death around me, because I would be able to cherish the people around me that I'm spending time with. I would be able to tell people their stories and their experiences. I would be able to learn and meet other people. And granted, I won't be able to have a conversation because I would know the history of everything in a sense. The history would repeat itself in a way. So I would try my best to help through those around me. And I was just thinking about death, because I saw my grandfather die in front of me. He took his last breath. He was on the hospital bed. His soul was leaving him, and I saw him die before me, passed on. And to go back to talk about how I felt at the moment, I asked for forgiveness. I cried. I apologized for not being there for him, and I apologized for being selfish and thinking about myself because I was a kid. He died when I was about 16, 17 years old, and I had to ask for forgiveness, but I also forgave myself because I was really young. I just didn't understand it till you face it. And that kind of loss I think is important. I think it's important to lose those important people around you so you can better understand perspective. You can better know yourself and what you do after. I had a conversation with a friend of mine. Hold on a second here. I'm getting new equipment. This extra sound, this sound is driving me crazy. Anyway, it's okay. I'm not saying his name. I have to talk about him a little bit. He deals with that. How do I put this? Well, let's just make it super vague. He sees people die. People die every day. So he's there. He's around it a lot, like a lot. And I asked him, are you numb to it? And I guess he said yes and no because he's not part of it. I mean, he had to see a young kid die. And that broke him, But with other people that's older or whatever, they live their life and think about this, right? Let's do a hypothetical. Like your family member is dying and he or she has no hope of surviving, but you don't want to let him go or let that person go. That's selfish though, right? Because you're doing it, technically you're doing it for you. I can't speak for anybody. Like I'm just speaking out of like in general, oh my God. I'm just speaking in general. Okay. And he's saying that sometimes the reason why you do it is because you don't want to see that person go for yourself because you love them so much. But, he saw all of that. And when he had to let somebody go, he knew that person just couldn't take it anymore. And he's like, I'm done. I've lived my life and you have to let them go. And I just thought about that. And recently, I don't know if I talked about it here, my grandma, she's not sick, but she had a wound on her leg and it wasn't healing right, and she's doing better now. It's healing, but it's very raw. It's going to take a while to recover. And they were thinking of doing another procedure. And again, this is all very vague, but they wanted her to do another procedure, and she didn't want to do it. She was still afraid, and they have to respect her decision. And they said that, well, okay, so we have to buy like the oxygen tank or whatever because she's having trouble breathing, you know? And there was a moment where the doctor was saying like she's not in any sort of trouble, but just in case, like if we have to perform CPR, is that okay? And she said no, like just basically just make her as comfortable as possible until, you know, until the time runs out. And at the moment, I was just thinking about that because I had to hear it from my aunt because they're back home. They're back in Singapore. Okay. So I had to hear it through like text, like audio text. Okay. And I'm just hearing it through what they're saying that what she's going through and whatever. And I had to think about it and it sucks. It fucking sucks. But I respect her decision and she's lived a great life and I love her to death. But you have to be okay to let somebody go, you know, and you're responsible for holding their memories. You're responsible for telling their stories. You're responsible for keeping that legacy alive in you. And what you do after that is your business, but what you do after that is your basically the legend lives on, you know? I think death is a hard thing. I've had schoolmates like commit suicide and died in an accident, and there were a lot of them. And I wasn't that close to any of them, but you know, as you grow older, the people around you grow old as well, and you just don't notice it until you see an older person or you see your friends around you age, you know, because you're stuck in this little bubble within yourself and you don't notice it until you notice it. So I don't know that perspective is heavy. It's heavy. It's heavy to unload. And so much was going on the past few days. So much was I was taking time to really look to check in with myself. I took time to just figure out what I need to do. And lately I haven't been really thinking about myself, you know, because I've been busy working on myself to help others, you know, because I talked about this. I'm a fixer. I can't help it. Like if I see a problem, I want to solve it. If I see a problem, I want to find the solution. And I just realized the past few days, the past month or whatever, it's especially with your friends or family, it's not your responsibility to fix it. It is your responsibility to listen and to be, I guess, cliche as it is, to be their guiding light as much as you can, to be there for them as much as you can. And I haven't really thought about myself because so I took on like that leadership role where I just do my best to take ownership of everything around me. And it's so difficult. It's so uncomfortable. And you know what all that means? It means it's growth. And I have to ask myself, how do I feel about it right now? Do I feel uncomfortable? Do I feel unresponsive? Do I feel put aside because I'm putting others as much as I can ahead of me? Like, I'm going to be honest. I haven't been working on any music. Not at least the past few days. I haven't done that. I haven't been inspired yet, but I have been searching and learning and figuring out what I have to do for myself. Because the past one I was talking about, a lot of things that I've been doing was out of spite. And for a second, for a moment. Now I kind of feel lost a little bit. You know, I feel like, oh man, what am I doing? What am I up to? I still have goals. I think I have to search it. I have to dive deeper within myself. I have to go in within myself and really uncork and unscrew all these holes and let it flow and let it be so unbelievably uncomfortable. Then I think I might know what is expected of me from myself. Does this make any sense? I feel like, you know, I've been doing this for 21 weeks. And I'm sitting here in my studio talking to myself and hearing myself in my ears and speaking out loud, speaking to the camera, looking directly at the camera. And you have to try it one day. You have to like sit in a room. It sounds completely bonkers, but you have to sit in a room and have that conversation with yourself, and you're talking to yourself and you're answering to yourself. It's insane, man. It gives you insight and perspective. And the question will be, are you ready for it? Are you ready to feel that uncomfortability? You know, I am good at a lot of things, and I'm also really bad at a lot of things. And that doesn't deter me from trying, and that doesn't deter me from doing it over and over again, you know? I think it's all about finding perspective. I think it's all about taking complete ownership of what you're doing. Man, I suffer from anger, man. I suffer from being angry at everything. And I have to like really, really look back and really ask myself, like, whoa, what is your deal? Why are you so mad? I think it's control. It comes down to control, right? It comes down to not being able to really control what's going on. The only person you can control is yourself. And I get why people get mad when their loved ones die. I get why they get angry and they want to do something about it, because those people don't like feeling helpless. That category, and that includes me. I hate feeling helpless. So how are you with death? How are you with letting somebody go? And obviously, if you can, here's the thing. And I can't speak for this. This might be a hard topic. This might be I've never really had a close friend or a close family member commit suicide. I've never had to experience that. And I can only imagine what those people are going through, but I can't. I've seen and heard and close schoolmates or whatever do that. And, you know, like celebrities that you look up to or whatever. But and most people blame themselves for not being able to see it, for not being able to help them. But you're living your life too. You can only do so much. And when you blame yourself, when you have no control over that, you have to start forgiving yourself. And that's really hard to do as well, because you deserve to live your life too. You deserve to do the best you can for yourself and to those around you. So I don't know. I've never have to experience that. I've I've seen a death happen in front of my eyes. My grandfather died in front of my eyes. I now have to deal with having to let go of my grandma. Hopefully not too soon. And I can't be there for her. So what can you do? What can you do, man? It's the most frustrating topic. How do what am I even doing right now? How do I feel right now? You know, I hate rushing. This feels like a mess, and I hope if you're still here with me, man, I thank you so much. This past few days has been so confusing and so I'm genuinely tired from dealing with what's going on. You know, self-care is key, man. Self-care is important too. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna leave you at this. This was a weird one. So let me leave you with some questions, okay? Like, are you able to? Have you checked in with yourself? Have you really looking inside yourself and talk about the uncomfortability and talk about the issues that you need to deal with? Have you really done that for yourself so you can grow, so you can evolve, so you can move on? Are you able to let somebody go when they want to be let go? And I'll close it right here. I mean, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful that I have a house and a bed that I can sleep and just get lost in my head for a little bit. And I'm just going to be honest, you know, I'm grateful that I have newfound friends that are getting really close, getting me to open up and doing new ventures. This one's a little weird for me. And I'm grateful for being here, and I'm grateful for people out there just taking the time to listen to what I have to say and to just give me a chance, you know? So that's it, man. That's it. So I'm going to plug myself a little bit. I'm releasing a new single tomorrow called Enough. And August 11th, it's about being enough. It's about being enough for yourself and being enough for other people, but mostly yourself. So that song it's a slower song, so it's going to be out tomorrow early. And you know, you can find me at Just Zander on Instagram, and everything else would be at Just Zander Gray. This is episode 21. Thank you for listening. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts or everything else, please rate and review. This is what I can promise, okay? I promise you guys I'll be better. I'll promise you guys that I will always continue to work towards getting better. And I'll take ownership for this wacky episode today. So I apologize for just not being 100%, but I wanted to stay consistent. So I haven't found the time to really go inside myself to get some insight to start this. It's been a whirlwind this past few days. So thank you for being with me. And this one's a really short one. It's the shortest one I've done. And I feel good about it now, you know, so I can edit it and stuff. But anyway, this will be out Monday today. Thank you for listening. Just Zander Podcast. Please DM me, ask me some questions. Let's start a conversation, and peace. I'm alone.